Canada newly elected Prime Minister Mark Carney on Tuesday met with President Donald Trump of the United States, U.S. after he had arrived at its rival trade war neighboring country, the U.S. earlier on Monday, with a statement that Canada and U.S. are strongest when they work together, and, on Tuesday when he finally met with Trump at the Oval Office, he bluntly told the U.S. president that Canada is not for sale and won't be for sale ever, after Trump made a repeat statement of Canada becoming the 51st states of the United States of America, USA. Mark Carney, shortly after arriving in the U.S. on Monday, said, "I've arrived in Washington, D.C., ahead of meetings with President Trump tomorrow. Canada and the United States are strongest when we work together, and that work starts now," Carney stated via social media post. During the meeting on Tuesday, Trump said, "As a real estate developer, when you get rid of that artificial line, when you look at that beautiful formation together, I said, that's the way it was meant to be." Carney responded and said, "As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale. We are sitting in one right now, having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign the last several months. It's not for sale. It won't be for sale ever." It would be recalled that the two leaders quickly engaged in a continuous exchange of words soon after Mark Carney took over as Canada Prime Minister following Trump's repeated suggestions that Canada become part of the U.S. as the 51st state. After insisting that Canada is not for sale, Mark Carney added that although Canada is not for sale, but the opportunity is in the partnership and what we can build together. And we have done that in the past. Trump still didn't let go of the idea, as he later mused, "Never say never. Time will tell. It's only time. But I say never," Trump said. "I've had many things that were not doable, and they ended up being doable, and only doable in a very friendly way." Trump had in some minutes ahead of the meeting lashed out at Canada on his conservative social media platform, the Truth platform, writing, "The US didn't need anything the country has to offer in terms of trade and goods. We don't need the cars, we don't need their energy, we don't need their lumber, we don't need anything they have, other than their friendship, which hopefully we will always maintain. They, on the other hand, need everything from us. The Prime Minister will be arriving shortly, and that will be, most likely, my only question of consequence," Trump wrote. Carney's visit comes off the heels of his election win to replace Justin Trudeau that was fueled, in part, by his anti-Trump platform. After his victory, Carney warned Canadians, "Trump is trying to break us so that America can own us. That will never ever happen." Trump on Monday had said he was not sure what the Prime Minister wanted to discuss, but added that Canada wants to make a deal, while Carney said on Friday that they will focus on trade pressures and the broader future economic and security relationship. "I'm not pretending these discussions will be easy. They won't proceed in a straight line," Carney said last week. "There will be ups and downs, zigzags along the way. But as I said in my remarks, I will fight for the best possible deal for Canada. I will only accept what's in the best interest of Canadians, and I will take as much time as necessary to achieve that."
Takes two to tango, right? But no, I do. I mean, I believe it would be a massive tax cut for the Canadian citizens. You get free military, you get tremendous medical cares and other things. There would be a lot of advantages, but it would be a massive tax cut. And it's also a beautiful, as a real estate developer, I'm a real estate developer at heart. When you get rid of that artificially drawn line, somebody drew that line many years ago with like a ruler, just a straight line right across the top of the country. When you look at that beautiful formation when it's together, I'm a very artistic person, but when I looked at that beauty, I said, that's the way it was meant to be. But, I do feel it's much better for Canada, but we're not going to be discussing that unless somebody wants to discuss it. I think that there are tremendous benefits to the Canadian citizens, tremendously lower taxes, free military, which honestly we give you essentially anyway because we're protecting Canada if you ever had a problem. But I think it would really be a wonderful marriage because it's two places that get along very well. They like each other a lot.
Well, if I may, as you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever. But the opportunity is in the partnership and what we can build together. We have done that in the past, and part of that, as the president just said, is with respect to our own security. And my government is committed for a step change in our investment in Canadian security and our partnership, and I'll say this as well, that the president has revitalized international security, revitalized NATO, and us playing our full weight in NATO, and that will be part of it.
And they have, I must say, Canada is stepping up the military participation because Mark knew, they were low and now they're stepping it up, and that's a very important thing. But never say never. Never say never.
Osazuwa Nebe, bringing you the news in a more digital way.